Hello, everyone. I'm glad you're here today. Today, we'll take a look at The Power Station. Album released March 25th, 1985, and I gotta say up front, this album is awesome. I've always loved this record. A little history that most of you, if you're watching this, you probably do know. John and Andy Taylor, on a break from Duran Duran, they decided to put a little project together, and they're gonna get a bunch of different singers. Then they asked Robert Palmer to sing, Get It On, Bang a Gong. Or actually, they asked him to sing Communication. Then he heard Get It On and wanted to sing that too. And just after jamming with him for a little while, it just made more sense. Like, why doesn't he just sing all the songs? Because his voice and everything was a perfect fit for what they wanted to do. They get Tony Thompson on drums from Chic. And we know that John Taylor, bass player, a big Chic fan. And you get Bernard Edwards from Chic, the awesome bass player, producing this, and it all just comes out awesome. And the drums are enormous on this record. The whole record sounds really good. The bass, guitar, vocals, drums, everything's very distinct and together. And the drums sound huge, but it doesn't drown out everybody else. And it's just these massively massive sounding drums, which are just awesome if you're into that kind of thing. But the cool thing about it is that it doesn't take away from the songs, where sometimes if drums are too high or just too overbearing, it can kind of take away and distract from the songs, but here it doesn't. And a lot of these songs are kind of sort of like power pop, I guess you might want to call it, with some, but it's not hard rock, but it's not soft rock. It's kind of like right in that middle sort of 80s rock type stuff, similar to later, obviously, what you're going to hear in Robert Palmer's following solo records. But this one is pretty awesome. And of course, starts out with Some Like It Hot. And there's not many songs that can start out with a drum fill intro as long as this one goes on. And I know on radio they cut it out and they just start from the beginning, but Tony Thompson puts in this awesome drum fill, and it could almost be a song in of itself, but that song is pretty awesome, and the drums really make it. And then, obviously Andy Taylor plays a cool guitar solo. Robert Palmer sings it great, and just and John's bass playing it. Every song it just comes out like these guys were meant to play together. Then you go to Murderous. That's a cool mid-tempo tune. Once again, huge drums, everything's like one. Some Like It Hot, Murderous. You go into Lonely Tonight, and it has like a cool drum fill intro to start it, mid-tempo. And none of these songs are going, there's a few little bit slower ones, but these ones, they're pretty decent mid-tempo pace, good power pop songs. Then you go into Communication, which was another song that was released. This one's really cool. You got the horns and the big drums, and the way it's just, this whole album's produced, everything just sounds so crisp and clear and clean, and nothing, the horns don't distract, the drums don't distract, everything just fits. It all just really works on this record. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of this one. It's pretty cool. If you haven't heard it, you should definitely listen to it. Then you go to Get It On, Bang a Gong, the T-Rex cover. And I understand some people might prefer the T-Rex version, but this version's pretty cool. Then Go to Zero, a nice pop rock tune. Once again, sounds really good. Harvest the World by the Isley Brothers. It's a cool up-tempo power pop rocker. And they close it out with a slower song, Still in Your Heart, which is still pretty cool. It's probably maybe my least favorite on the record, but I still like it a lot. And there's a bunch of other songs added in through remixes and re-releases, but these were kind of the main gist of it all. But all I wanted to do is say, if you haven't heard this, you definitely should check it out. And it's kind of a shame that these guys couldn't have stayed together, like maybe even a couple more years. I know they did various, lineups and different things with different people and a few performances here and there, but this main group of guys with Palmer, Thompson, and John and Andy Taylor were just such a good mix together, especially with Bernard Edwards producing and the way the whole thing sounds. But definitely awesome record, part of a 80s history, and the videos for Some Like It Hot and Get It On, you can kind of tell that kind of foreshadowing the type of videos Robert Palmer was going to do a little bit coming up shortly with his solo records, but definitely cool. The musicianship's great. I think all these guys, I mean, they're recognized as good musicians, but Tony Thompson's always recognized as a great drummer in the drumming world, but I think sometimes John Taylor, because Duran Duran's more in that, pop realm, that he doesn't get like the credit he deserves for like a lot of the great bass playing that he does. I know a lot of my bass player friends say trying to play along to him is very difficult, and I can understand why, because he does a lot of interesting things. And Andy Taylor, who he gets to show off a little more of his stuff as far as guitar playing on this record that you really wouldn't hear on Duran Duran. Well, anyways, that's all for today. Hopefully you have a great day wherever you are, and we'll see you next time.